Hi, I'm kctruby, the Lonesome Cowboy. Today I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes on how to turn your accounting practice into a cash cow business and do that for just $97 a month. Now, our objective here on this website is to help you round up 35 cash cows. And a cash cow to us, well, that's somebody that lets you make $10,000 a year in net profit. That profit might come from outsourced bookkeeping, financial planning, payroll services. However you decide you want to deliver the service, my job is to help you find, over the next couple of years, 35 cash cow clients. And what happens if you find 35 of these cows? Well, at $10,000 a year profit, that puts you in the top 1% of all income earners in America. And then we have been a success. But there's something real important here. This is real critical. You cannot be the cowboy who does all the work. I've got to get 98% of the work out of your office. Now, I know this from experience, working with accountants all over the country, that if you get stuck at the desk, we're done. We might get one cash cow, might get two, but that's it, we're done. We have got to get the work off your desk. In our office, we send work to retired CPAs in Florida or Arizona working out of their double wide. Sometimes we use housewives that have quit the accounting office they were at, the bookkeepers, went home to raise babies, they just want to work 2 or 4 hours a day. Heck, we even send some work offshore to India. You may not like doing that, but that's what we do, and the system that I'm going to show you makes it possible. Now, our philosophy in running an accounting business, not an accounting practice, our philosophy running an accounting business boils down to you should own just 3 things. You need to own the cash flow. As a matter of fact, this is good advice that you can give your clients just as well. In business, you should own the cash flow, you should own the customer list, and you should own and manage the business processes and the procedures. But there are some things you don't want to own, and I'll tell you what they are. I do not think you should own buildings and furniture. I had a guy come down here a couple of months ago, wanted me to buy his accounting firm, doing $4 million in business. He was so excited, a bookkeeping firm in LA. And the most exciting asset, he said, is, and it includes a 10,000 square foot building. So if I buy this $4 million of revenue, I get 65 employees and 10,000 square feet of glass and concrete. Nope, don't want it. That is more nightmare than I care to deal with. If I was running a $4 million bookkeeping business, I think I would have 6 employees, and they might work in a rented spot. Everyone else could go home, but I sure did not want this kind of an obligation or an albatross around my neck. I don't want to have employees and pension plans and benefit packages or computer systems and software. I don't want obligations that force me into locked-in overhead. Now, every time you start one of these tapes and you start telling people how to make money, they want to say, well, how do you know? Who are you? Well, I got to tell you, I'm probably the most advanced, successful accounting salesman in America. As a matter of fact, I've never met anybody that's better at selling than me. Although I have seen some on Sunday morning television. But since 1985, I've been selling accounting since a little accountant named John Granville walked in my office, very timid, his first day out of the comprehensive accounting college. And I'm his very first cold call. And he walks in, he's got a little beard, a little briefcase. He says, you don't need an accountant, do you? And I looked at him and said, yeah, I do. Come on in, sit down. And I signed up because I wanted some write-up as a brand new little couponing company I was doing in Denver. After business in Wyoming burned down, I moved to Denver to start a little couponing company. And John was so excited, he sat down and wrote me up $150 a month write-up class. He calls me 2 weeks later, he's ready to deliver the first reports. And I said, John, how are they buying? How's those cold calls going? And he gets real timid on the phone. He goes, Casey, they ain't buying like they used to. And so I said, well, John, come in. I think you're a terrible salesman. Come in and I'll show you how to sell accounting. And since 1985, that's exactly what I've been doing. I got it in my blood. Now, here's something interesting, though. In all that time, I never once learned what retained earnings meant, and I still don't know what reconciliation is. I thought that's what you do with your wife after you've been on a business trip. In the 1990s, we ended up creating a series of training tapes for accountants that they could send to business owners. We call them the business builders. And over a couple of years, we sold 2 million of these tapes to 400 different accounting offices, and they distributed them all over the country and got hundreds and thousands of new clients off these tapes. And then between 1999 and 2004, well, I rounded up, came up with a whole new idea called Bridge 21, using QuickBooks, the hot software of the day, Bridge 21 QuickBooks seminars, called it QuickBooks Day in America, and we got 250,000 business owners to show up at 1,400 accounting offices. And those 1,400 accountants did this for years and years because it was such a good marketing tool. And then in 2005, I met a young woman who was an accountant in Michigan. I talked her into coming out to California and becoming my partner in an outsourced bookkeeping business. Now, to make that work, Lynn and I knew we were going to have to build 3 processes. One is we were going to have to develop a standardized service that was easy to manage, services that were easy to manage. The scope of service was controlled, that work could be delegated, and that we would create weekly or checkly months. The second system we knew we had to develop was a marketing process to generate leads. When we turn it on, the leads come in, or we can slow it down and slow the number of leads that come in every week, but we had to have a system that we could depend on to work consistently. And we had to hire out-of-office staff. We did not want to start creating a great big infrastructure and office buildings, that sort of thing, if we were going to do this outsourced bookkeeping together. So here's what it looks like. I'll just tell you what the 3 systems look like. We figured out how to use a small one-trick pony websites that only offer one solution. And the whole idea was that we were going to generate sales leads when people went to Google and typed in, I have problems with QuickBooks, or I want to know about outsourcing, or I need somebody to do my business tax return. Now, we don't get everybody on the universe to type those things in, just the people that are interested. And here's what happened though. Our marketing system, and we supplemented it with some postcards and little newspaper ads, 1-inch ads running the remnant space. But here's what happened. We consistently grew the business, but our ad budget started to fall through the floor. In 06 and 07, we spent $45,000, $46,000, but in 08, it dropped in half to $22,000, and in 09 it dropped in half again to $11,000 because we had finally figured out a systematic process where we needed leads. We just turned the dial up a little bit. When we're busy, we can turn the dial down a little bit. I'm going to show you on this website how that works. It's a key to turning your accounting practice into a cash cow business. Now, the next thing we had to come up with is some way to get work done, to manage the process. And so what we did next is we invented a system called paperless workflow. And that's a system for outsourcing work, managing documents, turning our clients paperless, telling who has what work to do, when and where it's at. Lynn can come in every day, click on a screen, she sees all 14 of her remote employees, and she knows exactly how much work is on their desk, how much work a client's sending in, how much got done yesterday, what didn't get done. All of that's on her desk instantly, but the thing I really like about it is now she can get 8 hours of work done, office work done, in between 3 and 4 hours a day. That's a 50% productivity gain over an accountant down the street. So we're taking 8 hours of work and getting it done in 3 to 4 hours. But most important, 98% of that work, it's done out of our office. Then we went out and sold this to other accounting firms, and 200 firms today use this paperless document system called Paperless Workflow, and they've got over 2,500 small businesses all over America, from startup to about 10 million in revenue, that they're doing the outsourced bookkeeping for using this document management system. So now we've got 2 systems. We've got a system for getting clients in the door, a marketing system, and we have a system for getting the work done. Now, but the most important system of all is we had to figure out how not to do the work ourselves. This is a problem I've seen over and over working with accountants since 1985. 25 years now I have worked with accountants, and over I see them work too hard. When you're working, when you're sitting at your desk doing a financial statement, finishing up the books, reconciling, doing a tax return, here's bad news, dude. You're not making any money. You only make money in this business doing 2 things: building relationships with your staff and with your clients, and the other thing is coming up with systems to make your business run faster, better, and cheaper so it's more meaningful for your client. But none of those include you actually picking up a pencil and crunching numbers.